Alright, our next lesson is going to be on problem-solving strategies. There are many problem-solving strategies in mathematics. So when you're solving word problems or more complex problems, it's best to search for answers or look for answers or to make sure your answer is right by using a variety of strategies. So there's plenty of strategies out there, but we're just going to focus on a couple. But in this picture we have draw a diagram, work backwards, you can act it out. You might have seen a similar problem so you can relate to it. You might have to make a model. You might want to look for a pattern. You might want to guess and check. You might want to make a table. You might test all possible solutions, and you might want to break the problem into reasonable parts. So each strategy is different, or it might be easier to some people than others. It might be easier for one strategy to work in one problem than another problem. So we're going to teach you a couple tools, and then in problems you can see which one is better for you. And here's just another picture that I inserted to show you other problem-solving strategies. Most of them are the same from the last slide. I think make an organized list might be different, but just more pictures to show you of different strategies that we might use in class. The first strategy we're going to teach you is look for a pattern. So we've been working with patterns ever since you guys were younger, so this might be easier for you in problems, or some problems might have a pattern, so it's easy to catch on. So when you're looking for a pattern, you want to analyze the first few numbers in a pattern and identify a rule that it is used to go from one number to the next. So if we look over to your right, so if they give you these numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, and they wanted you to keep going, you could this is easy to see the pattern. As they go from 2 to 4, they're adding 2. As they go from 4 to 6, they're adding 2. As they go to 6 to 8, they're adding 2. So if they wanted you to keep going, you can clearly figure it out because these ones all added 2. Okay, and the same thing other one. 4 to 8 is 4. 10 to 2, or 10 to 8 to 10 is 4. Oops, they messed that up. So let's not look at that example. But you're basically identifying a pattern or a rule. So most patterns have a rule, like are they adding 2, or they're multiplying 2, or are they subtracting 1 away every time. You just got to look for a rule that happens in the pattern. The next strategy we're going to show you is guess, check, and revise. And this is not my favorite strategy to show because it's kind of hard to teach because you need to make an educated guess. People automatically assume, oh, guess, so they're going to put any number randomly out of the blue. We don't want to do that. We want to make a good guess. Does it make sense? It has to be smart, educated guess, not just some random out of the blue guess that doesn't make sense to the problem. So when you guess, check, and revise, you make a reasonable guess and then check it in the problem. You can then use the results to improve your guess until you find the right solution. So if you're guessing, your first guess might not be right, but you could see if you put in the problem, oh, if it's too high, maybe my guess needs to go lower, or if it's too low, maybe my guess needs to go higher. So you need to make a good, smart guess, not just some random out of the blue guess. The next strategy, which is one of my favorite strategies, I love making tables, and usually you can make a table in any problem. Most of the time it will usually make sense or help you. So a table allows you to organize information in an understandable way. So you might get a lot of information at once, and you need to make a table to help you organize it. So in this example, so we have Steve there with the crazy hair, some kind of animal friend. So it says Steve has 24 marbles. So each marble is red or green. For every green marble, Steve has 3 red marbles. How many red marbles does Steve have? So in this problem, it makes sense to make a table. So we're used to making tables. So what they did is they did the color and then the number of marbles. So they told us in the problem they have green or red marbles. And then we want to know the total. So it says Steve has 3 red marbles for every green marble. So what I like to do is underline important information in your word problems, because sometimes I like to give you wordy stuff that does not make sense in the problem or unnecessary. So then what they did, so we know they have 1 green marble and 3 red. So that's a total of 4. So if they have 2 green marbles, then they're going to have 6 red marbles. If they have 3 green marbles, then they're going to have 9. So as you say, for every green, there's going to be 3 red. So basically, you're adding 3 each time. So with this table, you can then organize it all the way till you get this total of 24 on the bottom. So making a table allows you to organize information in a way that you can understand it. It's easy to see, easy to visualize. This is one of my favorite strategies. Another strategy we have is work backwards. Now, work backwards, you can't really use it in a lot of problems unless they already give you the end result. So with working backwards, you start with your end result and undo each step. So this only works when something is given to you, the answer's already given to you, and they want to find steps beforehand, or how many they started with, etc. So if we look at our example, it says if you multiply a number by 8 and then add 3, then subtract 9, you get 34. What's the number? So they give us the answer of 34. Okay, we need to then work backwards to figure out what this number is. Okay, so it says we had a number, they times it by 8, added 3, subtracted 9, and that's how we got 34. So when you're working backwards, it's important that you undo each step. Okay, so you're basically doing the opposite. So they took 34, they subtracted 9, or sorry, the problem told you to subtract, so you have to do the opposite, which is add 9, which gives us 43. Okay, then they want us to, we have to undo, they added 3, so they have to subtract 3, which gives us 40. And then they times 8, so you want to divide by 8, which gives us 5. Okay, then you can go back and check it. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43. 43 minus 9 gives us 34. Okay, so when you're working backwards, you're undoing, you're doing the opposite. Okay, this can only be done when you're given the end result and you want to figure out what you started with or numbers in between. So that will be the end of our strategies that we're going to teach you. We'll talk about more strategies and go more in depth with them tomorrow in class.